Hey guys, T-Boliv here, and today I have for you one last, I promise, Cleveland video. I did have a couple of requests for a compilation of some gameplay footage to kind of see, you know, what are its strengths, what are its weaknesses, what does it do well, what doesn't it do well, and so went through some of my videos, put this together, thought I'd show you guys, thought we'd get right into it. So that there was an Atlanta that definitely got chewed up by the awesome AP on this boat. Destroyers and light cruisers definitely fire that AP, guys. It does a really good job. I could have cut the video back there, but I did leave this in. Kind of shows the turning abilities of the Cleveland, and dodging torps is not a skill I've mastered yet, so anytime I can pull something like that off, I had to share it. So, but yeah, so we'll kind of get into is some different clips showing what it does and what it doesn't do. So this is not a good idea. An example of what not to do. Don't rush a bunch of red boats like that. That right there is a buddy of mine, Seminole from Yoho, who smoked up in his E46, not realizing that I had radar. Now, I did eat all 8 of his torps, but I got my heel pop just in time to let me finish him off. One less destroyer, always a good thing for your team. But yeah, that wasn't going to end well for me, so that was fun. This clip I left in not to highlight my gunnery skills, because I certainly wasn't showing them off in this match, but rather to show you what this boat can do. So destroyer pops smoke, he's in range of my radar, I'm going to light that up, and then trying to keep him moving that way because my good buddy Lost Soul was waiting for him to turn broadside and just absolutely wrecked him. So good teamwork, Lost. Thanks for the assist. This one I left in to kind of show you guys what the dispersion looks like. So note real quick, 62,000 damage. Only one boat left on the red team, that Colorado right there. And so we're going to go ahead and farm him and see what we can get out of that. I am not running dispersion in slot 1 on my Cleveland here, guys. That's just base dispersion right there. It was an 8, a 10. I think this is another 8. A couple of fires. And a note, I was not able to lob the island from that close, so keep that in mind. Does have good shell arcs, but they're not great. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I'm running secondary and AA range on this. It gets my secondaries out to just over 6 kilometers, and I found that being able to get both secondaries and mains in makes a big difference on the amount of damage you can put out.
Enemy ship destroyed.
Got a Sims there. He's turning. Didn't get him led quite the way I would like to, but still hit him between my mains and my secondaries enough to hurt him. There's the torps I was waiting for, and just thread the needle. So note real quick, guys, Tirpitz on the left, North Carolina dead ahead, and that is a Scharnhorst on the right. It's 3 battleships that I do not want to sail right into the middle of. So I sped this part up just because everybody knows what it looks like to shoot battleships. But I was pretty happy with this engagement and the way it came out. I did end up getting some help in just a minute, you'll see. But take down the Scharnhorst. Ate a torp. And then we're going to use this island to help us out. Now, note real quick that ACAT that popped up on the right. I did not see him at the time. He's going to come into play here in a minute, but I did not see him at the time. I was focused on these two battleships, trying to get some damage on them, trying to hurt them, also trying not to die. So I'm going to back up and give these guys a break. Friendly Benson is going to come out. I'm going to let him do 2 things. I'm going to let him try to get some torps out for me. I'm also going to let him be a target. Cleveland is an awesome support ship. It can really do some heavy damage. It does not like to be shot at. So whenever possible, pair yourself up with either a battleship who can tank for you, or a destroyer who can be a nuisance and be a distraction. Where the Cleveland really excels is as a support ship. Doesn't do real well most of the time by itself. Oh hey, look, an ACAT. The fact that I did not get torqued by him is a minor miracle. Those of you keeping score, though, that is kill number 4. Can we get a Kraken? Let's find out. Tirpitz is going to duck behind that island. I said before that the shell arcs weren't great. That's not entirely true. They're really good. It does make it a little bit harder sometimes at range to lead your target appropriately. There's a Kraken. It does make it a little bit harder at times to lead your target, especially if they're at a little bit further distance, but it does. You'll see a few clips in here where we were able to clear islands with the shells and really do some damage, so get a couple surprise shots in. So here's Ranger and Mahan. He's a fleet mate, fellow Xenon. Sorry about this, Ranger, but you know, you're the one that smoked up in front of me.
We hit the enemy.
So I got my radar going, see him in the smoke. I'm turning, waiting for the torpedoes. There they are.
We're hit.
2 is definitely better than 4. Took him on the nose.
Good job.
And then I rushed him, because if I can get inside his arming arc, then I knew that he wouldn't be able to get a second rack out and do any damage to me. Unfortunately, I didn't get far enough to get my guns turned on him appropriately, so looks like my carrier is going to put some torps on him, which is going to keep him turning broadside to me, and that's it. There's that second rack. Turn, and love it. Alright, so this clip is sped up. It's running at double speed. This is from the first video I posted where I compared the Cleveland to a couple of other Tier 8 cruisers. And this is just to show, in case you missed it that time, this guy decided to chase me down, and so with some help from a couple of friendly battleships, buddies that where I was divisioning with, we were able to whittle him down. And I ended up taking about 40k off of him and survived. Was able to get back across the map, and I did a little bit to help out. This one I'm showing just because, even though I didn't kill him and he got away, it wasn't worth chasing him in there. I was afraid I was going to get torped. I did manage to do 8,000 damage to him, to that Fletcher, though, in a pretty short amount of time. So, Bay of Storms, my favorite map. Here comes a Kagero out from around the island. He was not expecting me, clearly, but I was ready for him. And yeah, he's not going to last much longer. Set him up. Buddy knocked him down. That's the way you do it. This is a little bit later in that same match. Cleared the island and decided not to push out to that destroyer way on the far edge of the map. And we're just going to go ahead and farm that Gneisenau now. If I was a little smarter, I would have started turning sooner because, yep, there's the torps. Managed to only take 1, but also was broadside a little bit longer than I would have liked to have been. Here comes that Edinburgh. And I think he's trying to get turned to get torpedoes out on me. The only thing I can think of as to why he stayed broadside as long as he did. But I never saw the torps show up, and now doesn't really matter. That was a big caliber, by the way. So here we've got a Fletcher smoking up in the middle of cap. He's just inside of my radar range, so I'm going to light him up, and my team is going to work him over. See, he's reversing. I kept expecting him to pull back forward again to try to bluff, but he just kept going backwards, and even though my radar ran out,
Enemy ship destroyed.
still was able to get enough of a shot on him where his position had been fixed that was the end of it. Here comes another Fletcher. Tier 8-9 games. I didn't even realize until now. A lot of Tier 9s. So, once again, he smokes up. He's in range. He's going to turn.
We hit the enemy.
Eats a torp. And we're going to finish him off right here. So, as I said before, the armor-piercing rounds against destroyers and light cruisers is very, very effective, especially if they're rushing you and they're close enough to get some good solid hits. This video I left, again, not to show off my impressive gunnery skills, because, well, at point-blank range I was able to hit him pretty good. But more to show, give a props to Sir Tick there in the Benson. One slippery dude. Oh, he just kept turning out and wasn't able to really get any good solid hits on him other than that one at point-blank range. Did end up catching up with him eventually. Right about here, if I remember right.
The situation is under control.
But not without taking some damage of my own, and not without expending way more ammo than I would have otherwise preferred to. Another Kagero out here in the middle of the cap on Cage.
Target hit.
And he's just going to sail broadside.
Hit the enemy.
I'm gonna go ahead and shoot him.
Good job.
Unfortunately for him, he's probably too busy trying to get his torps off and not watching where he's going, because he's going to beach himself. It's not a good place to be with Cleveland right behind you. So this video I included to show an example of what not to do. So I had originally been chasing that Atlanta there in the background, chasing him around that island, and he baited me right into a trap between him and that North Carolina. And as you can see, my team's already not behind yet, but we're going to lose a couple of boats here in a second. Yep, there goes Lost. But this is North Carolina. He chased me hard, so you can see I'm in full reverse. I'm trying to get behind the island for some cover. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to make it. He's going to end up killing me. But in the time it takes him to do about 25,000 damage to me, I'm going to end up taking close to 40 off of him. So just staying skinny, wiggling back and forth, getting my back guns into play when I can, but trying to stay skinny on him otherwise. It's reducing his effectiveness, and in the meantime, he's close enough that I'm able to get him lit up on fire a couple times, get a bunch of hits landed, and well, I lasted a lot longer than I expected to, that's for sure. But it just goes to show that if the situation is not in your favor against something bigger like a battleship, you're going to have a hard time. Anyways, broke 50k. Can't complain too much about that. This one just showing kind of what the dispersion looks like. A little bit, not max range, but kind of that mid to long range, and landed pretty decent salvos. That one wasn't too great, 6 hits, but it did start a fire. 8 rounds, finished them off. So this is the last clip I have for you guys today, and I was originally heading to this island to engage that Kipper that was there towards the right, and was surprised to find myself a Graf Zeppelin. Now, this is not the gunfight I came over here to have, but sometimes you take what you're given. And I don't know about you guys, but anytime there's a carrier in a B cap, I'm going to shoot at him. So he does outgun me with his 200 caliber or 200 millimeter guns. But got the AP loaded and started getting some decent hits against him. I was very excited with that salvo right there, because I'd been trying to get a double Citadel in one match to finish a mission for about the last 10-12 games and had not been able to get it done. So it was very exciting to finally get that finished off. So anyways, want to go ahead and say thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. Do appreciate your feedback and your comments. Please let me know, what did you like, what didn't you like, what would you like to see next time. I'd like to keep doing videos for you guys, but I want to make sure I'm putting out what you want to watch. So leave a comment, let me know, and otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys out there. Have a good one.